What is going on? It is another well, right now for sure, a Wayne Chung 928 video. Probably gonna change my name later on, more likely. I should really consider it. But anyway, it is another video of it is false advertising by Scott the Waz. This is the first video that I am reacting to on this channel. I've seen this man's videos before, and they're actually very, very interesting. And this one uh might be pretty good to watch because there's definitely been a lot of false advertising that I've seen in gaming for many, many years, and it's still gonna happen to this day in future on. Let's check this out.
Hey y'all, Scott here. Please, for the love of God, don't mind me. I'm just doing some touch-ups to my high school yearbook photo. You think they'd let me do retakes 9 years later? There's gotta be a grace period. I've been having trouble going to sleep thinking about what people thought of me back then, so hopefully this will change their minds. Okay, and we're done. I actually
Badass.
toned it down. I didn't want to get too laid. Telling the truth. What are you, a bitch?
Yeah.
Well, be honest about how your video game looks when you can just lie and deal with it when it's already bought. False advertising is how many companies roll. We've all seen those fast food comparison shots. This is what's advertised, and this
all
is what
the
I got.
time.
What the hell? Most of the time for marketing, they'll use something that represents the final product, but you do some color correction, adjust the lighting, tweak a few angles here and there, boom, good enough for air. And when it comes to video games,
bro, the fucking Watch Dogs demo. Absolutely night and day difference of what the game was supposed to be and what it actually came out to be.
They are no stranger to catfishing. Why show actual gameplay in your ad when you can show something that's neither a game nor being played? That's way easier to disappoint.
Bro, how old that is, that Fable? Dude, they finally announced that shit's coming out.
Players into
It looks completely different.
No matter what, false advertising is always gonna stick with gaming. It's been there since the very start and it'll be there till the very end in 4 months. Advertisers know they could just show you what the actual game is gonna be like, or they could visualize what it'll feel like. Garbage. Sometimes advertisements don't necessarily lie, but with the way they're set up, you come in with certain
76?
expectations. With the Mario Galaxy commercials and box art, I thought you could fly through space just like this to each of the galaxies. Instead, they just play a cutscene of Mario flying, and when you would fly in game, it would mostly just be an automated thing going from one place to another. You did get a power-up late in the game, the Red Star, and that let you freely fly for a decent amount of time, but it was only in one level and the hub world. I wanted to cream through space to all these levels like how this looked. And Super Mario Galaxy just ended up being my favorite game of all time. I'll take the single tier.
Believable.
This is kind of the mentality of a lot of old school
game.
box art. Box art in general is supposed to be an artistic representation of the game you're buying. Of course, it shouldn't lie, but if you're waiting for an exact moment in the game to look just like the box art, well, that's a toughie. I don't think this ever happened in Title Legends. Obviously, these take and hyperbolize the best and most defining moments of the game to make for a great and appealing piece of art that also isn't misleading, which is a difficult thing to balance. Atari thought we were idiots.
Gears of War, baby.
This isn't misleading because under the right mindset, the game will make you...
Sadly, it's the 5th one, which I did spend a lot of time playing, but yeah, I should really beat that game. I never beat it. Yeah.
Feel like this. Soul eating soap. You thought we were past this level of deception?
Oh my God.
See, many have noticed how box art is...
Dude, 100%. Dude, the amount of these games that have come out where the box art's completely different to the actual gameplay is...
become more in line with what we expect out of our games these days, but the angst behind the Atari box art lives on in the form of trailers.
Oh, it is.
We could show the product and get people excited, or we could not show the product and get people excited and pissed eventually. Hey, sometimes you just have to show something, and if that something isn't enough, America's biggest fear becomes a reality. The gamers will revolt. So it's obviously enticing to make your game look as appealing as possible in your big reveal trailer. It's okay to use a few scenes not actually in the game, maybe put some CGI there for the sake of cinema, maybe put that in. It's not in the game, but we can make it happen in the game, right? This is how legends are born. Dead Island is one of my go-to
Dead Island, phenomenal game,
and it's one of the best ones of all time. This incredible, emotional, 3-minute long cinematic masterpiece showing...
Dude. Oh my God. Dead Island definitely was one of those games that did not need to have this type of this type of what you can say this type of music and trailer. This had no correlation of like the things in the story. Yes, it did show you like, I guess, like some of the apocalypse pretty much breaking out, the zombie apocalypse happening in the island, but it's just, why this? Who directed this?
family being attacked and losing their lives to a zombie outbreak, all played in reverse. There's so much you can analyze with this trailer. It put Dead Island on the map for so many players. This
It
trailer
did.
was the first time I had even heard of the game. It really set the title up to be a gripping, emotional story of a zombie apocalypse and the emotional turmoil that ensues because of it. Here's the first thing you see putting the disc in.
Shrunken head, broken legs, body parts on the concrete.
Not saying Dead Island is a bad game at all,
Absolutely,
but the
dude.
trailer and the game are two completely different beasts.
Fucking 9-day difference, dude. You got this emotional cutscene, just so deep, and then you play the game. It's just, yeah, who do you voodoo, bitch?
The game is still fairly serious, but not as serious or
Oh my
emotionally gripping as
God.
the trailer would lead you to believe. These characters have nothing to do with the game, other than showing
No,
remnants of the
it's just-
outbreak as it first occurred on the island. The developer Techland
Just
even
a
went into the
cinematic
game after
trailer,
the
that's all it
came out
is.
to try to adjust the tone as much as possible to be more in line with it. But these still feel like two different things. It just shows how powerful marketing can be, making you want something you had no prior interest in. But this was a case of false advertising just because we let somebody talented make our trailer. Oops. Sometimes
We let someone talented make the trailer. Bro, whoever did that, they deserve an award because that was a phenomenal trailer. But damn, the game itself, these two had nothing to do with each other.
this false advertising is very much deliberate as it sets you up for a massive shock while playing the game. Metal Gear Solid 2 is a prime
All right.
example. As
I
you
don't
think
know
you'll
of
just
this
play
one.
as Snake the whole game. Nah, you're playing the rest of the game as this new character, Raiden. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay.
Well, the title literally involving the word remake, it sets you up to expect the story to basically follow the same steps as the original. Also,
Right.
the entirety of the original. In reality, this was a fucking lie. The Last of Us Part 2, on top of pulling the same Metal Gear
Oh,
Solid
really? I guess it doesn't really follow one by one, which is understandable. But yeah, okay.
joke of, you thought you were playing as this character? Laugh. They also altered certain cutscenes for its trailers to make the character Joel look older in them, so that way, with viewers knowing he's aged, they were led to believe he was in more of the game than he really was, when in reality, they altered flashback scenes, made him look older, and put them in the trailer. See,
Agreed, dude. Agreed. They only did all that to make it be like, oh yes, here's this one character that everybody likes. Oops, he dies 15 minutes in.
I don't really consider that to be false advertising, at least in the more negative sense. Rather, it's leading players in another direction, or just not showing things to avoid spoilers. So it's just being an ass. But then we have just the flat-out lies.
Oh
Some of
my
the most
God, the
despicable,
FIFA games and
loathsome
shit.
moments in the video game industry. The Simpsons game. This game had the audacity to say
Wait,
in its E3
really?
2007 trailer
The
was releasing on
Simpsons?
every platform ever made.
Jesus
Coming
Christ, it's on
this
everything.
fall to every platform ever made.
Wow, even the PSP? See, most people
Yeah.
would assume that's a
Okay.
joke. You forget to take into consideration most
A
people. Some
PSP?
people genuinely thought this game was coming to all these platforms, so we had to re-release the trailer. The voiceover was the same, but the platforms showcased were... true. Well, I said it was ridiculous
Yeah, because that was like the Genesis? The fuck?
for anybody to
I think
assume
Genesis
the
is
original
on there.
trailer wasn't a joke. I think some of the platform choices were incredibly misleading. The Game
Yeah.
Boy Advance and GameCube were still being supported at this time, so out of all platforms to put there as a joke, those are really odd choices considering I don't think it was too far-fetched to expect a Game Boy Advance or GameCube version in 2007. Or the
Yeah,
VIC-20.
that's-
The box
yeah,
itself
that's
can be pretty deceitful sometimes. The
pretty
Legend of
true.
Zelda Breath of the Wild on Wii U says it
Ooh, I
supports
should
the
finish
Wii
that.
remote and nunchuck and classic controller and lying. This was just a misprint, but there was speculation in the early days of Breath of the Wild's development that it would allow players to use motion controls like with Skyward Sword on the Wii. Now, supporting one Wii remote by itself,
that'd be
I think only
cool.
the bravest speculation.
That would have been interesting if you're able to use the the Wii controls with it, but honestly, I don't think it would have played that great. I'm pretty sure it would have been pretty dog water, to be honest.
That Doom on Sega Saturn says on the box that it's the original Doom in all of its glory when it's missing content. But then we have the flat-out disappointments where you watch a Fruit
Battlefront
Gushers
2.
commercial as a kid,
Yeah.
and in those, whenever somebody ate one, their entire head would turn into a giant fruit. So you never ate one for years out of fear, and one day you decided life is hell anyways.
It didn't happen.
Son of a bitch. Marvel vs.
Bro,
Capcom.
what game, dude? There was a toy. Was it a toy? There was a toy that has something like that. Where like it would be like, oh, it could come to life and all the other stuff. And when kids got like that toy, heavily, severely disappointed kids because it wasn't at all of what was advertised. And I believe back then, I don't know when this was. I think this was like early 2000s or late 90s or something like that. And I think at that time they had to put like false advertising, or not false advertising. What is it? That they have to put like watermarks and things like that, saying, "Oh, this wouldn't, this won't happen," all that stuff, because yeah, they got in trouble.
Infinite. Oh, this collector's edition comes with stones.
I swear to
Infinity
God, they're
Stones.
just eggs.
No, I can.
What
These
the
have all
fuck?
been somewhat
What is
tolerable
that?
lies, though. I mean, if she's cheating on you, at least she's only doing it a little. Aliens Colonial Marines was such a massive cluster of garbage. Like, what the hell happened
Yeah.
here? Gameplay demos shown.
Oh wow, that's such a wow. That is massively different. Oh, and a fun fact: the reason why that the aliens they act so weird in this game is because there is actually a typo when it comes to when it comes with the AI. So yeah, there's literally a coding error, and it's the reason why the AI for what's their faces look do pretty stupid things.
Were severely different from the final product, making the game look so much more sophisticated with good lighting, AI, animations, a severe attention to detail. But upon release, we only have a few options here. See, this was a massive
Yeah.
downgrade, some areas of the game more so than others. But in the end, this was pure deceptive marketing. At E3 2012, the game was running on very specific work machines. This wasn't going to work on the consoles at the time, but they made it still not work. While it's not unplayable, Colonial Marines was a huge disappointment and showcases how companies will pretty up a game for major gameplay demos. To
Yeah,
end up
that
releasing
that
something
did happen
not
a lot.
nearly as groundbreaking. It's crazy how far these studios will go to mask a title's true identity, which, to be fair, I'm sure they wanted Aliens to end up looking like this. The intention definitely wasn't to win everybody over at E3 and then release shit. These gameplay demos are
Holy
supposed
shit.
to represent what they want
Absolutely.
the game to be, and if it actually turns out that way, well, let's pray God's a fan. I mean, this demo looks like a fine-tuned PS4 Xbox One game, not a 360 title. But even then, the graphical downgrade isn't merely due to the consoles. It affected the PC version as well, and overall,
Oh.
everything was just of lower quality. It tricked millions into buying the game.
Bro, absolutely, dude. Just the game being a night and day difference. It's like I can understand why they couldn't do all like a lot of the graphical things, but it's like why even represent it? Why even showcase it like that? If they would have been like, "Oh, this is PC only because of the graphics," or like, I'd be like, "Okay, understandable." But they didn't. They were like, "Oh, this is what it looks like on everything." So
Thinking would be
there you
this,
go.
when in reality, it was nothing but a shell of that. Watch Dogs suffered a similar, though not a severe
Yes,
fate.
that
It
one
do
too.
looked light years better via the gameplay demo than in its final state. This was definitely because it was revealed quite early in the project's life. They didn't have to take hardware limitations into account nearly as much at this time compared to when you're finalizing everything about the game. And when it got to that
Jesus
point,
Christ.
I mean, the game still looks fine, but that E3 gameplay demo was beyond impressive. Watch Dogs at release was a somewhat buggy.
I bet you anything right now they're just what is it? You know how PlayStation's doing like all remakes that nobody asked for? Like they did a Last of Us Part 1 remake that no one asked for. They're doing what is it? That dinosaur game that no one asked for. But yet the one that everybody wants is Bloodborne, including myself, but they're like, pish posh. Nobody wants that. I wonder if Ubisoft would do a remake of the E3 Watch Dogs. A part of me hopes so, but I don't know. For what it's going right now, I don't think so. They're probably gonna shut down by the time when they actually get to that point
Generic
of
modern
doing that.
Ubisoft game, and not much more than that. No Man's Sky was a huge letdown for many, with the promise of basically having an infinite amount of worlds to travel to in space.
Yeah,
Of
this
course, the
one
ones they
was-
decided to showcase at E3 were the only ones of note. The game was supposed to feature procedurally generated worlds, and when you would land on one, it was truly you discovering it. But in reality, the game launched as a boring experience where there was nothing to do, and the worlds weren't impressive. They didn't look as graphically decent as they did during the marketing push. And they all
Yeah,
just
that's
felt like
true.
variations of each other, nothing of note. Now, Watch Dogs wasn't the biggest downgrade. It was still a decent game, and No Man's Sky got a ton of updates, and
Yeah, No Man's Sky took a long time for them to fix. It was absolutely bare bones. Everything that they showed for No Man's Sky is was just not it at all. And I'll be honest, you know what? I should react to a video of like how No Man's Sky became, what is it, like the biggest flop to the what is it to the champion of all gaming. It's absolutely. I've seen a video like that. Maybe I should rewatch it again because there's so much that happened within the development of that company is fucking crazy, dude. It's crazy.
And at this point, it's pretty okay and does a better job living up to what was initially promised.
Yeah.
Aliens was one of the worst cases of this, deliberately making a better looking gameplay demo before release. And gameplay demos are supposed to be more trustworthy than trailers. That's the point of them. The trailers use CG cutscenes and cuts between them and gameplay all the time. The gameplay demo is
Absolutely.
supposed to show you what you're gonna get, because trailers can be incredibly misleading. The Killzone 2 trailer infamously was all CGI, even though it was animated in a way to make the viewers think it was all gameplay. See, this was right before the PlayStation 3 was coming out, and
I won't lie to you. If the game actually played out like that, I'll be honest with you, I would highly believe that it was gonna be an on-rail shooter. And here's the thing: on-rail shooters aren't exactly that popular with with console games.
that was a time when we thought anything was possible on these consoles. If anybody could
games.
resurrect Christ, it would be the PS3. So many assumed they weren't lying. This was gameplay. Now, Killzone 2 still looked quite good when it released, but the people who made this trailer, they're still going to hell. Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2009 on Wii. The commercial used Xbox 360 footage of the game with a Wii Remote pointer. How did they think that would fly? EA explained the Wii footage wouldn't look good on a TV, so they used the HD footage from the 360 version and put the Wii Remote pointer in there, and bam! That's a sin. But one game decided to do something innovative. Be the biggest example of false advertising of all time. Yeah, I'm not really saying
Cyberpunk.
anything that hasn't already been.
Oh yeah, this is pre-patch Cyberpunk. Bro, I played this dude. I played this game on the Xbox One, and oh my god, this game is so bad. Maybe I should find a copy. Maybe I should find a copy of this game and play it and stream it one day. It's
Here.
so bad, dude.
Smallpox. They fucking stink. But when talking about false advertising in gaming, we can't avoid the piss stain on my Xbox collection. Cyberpunk
Bro,
2077 was developed by
on the
CD
one.
Projekt Red, a developer highly regarded.
I won't lie, man. That game was so ambitious. Not Witcher, but the Cyberpunk of on the Xbox One was so ambitious that it just couldn't be on there.
For
It
their work
couldn't.
on the Witcher series and their commitment to consumer-friendly practices. I mean, The Witcher 3 was a huge hit, but even before that release, they announced they'd be working on a game based on the Cyberpunk series of tabletop RPGs. This was in 1964. Announced in 2012, then getting its first trailer in 2013, and then its next trailer 5 years later. In reality, the game was nowhere near starting full-on development, and it took until The Witcher 3's final expansion release in 2016 for the team to actually start work, and when this gameplay demo was fully revealed in 2018, jaws were dropped. This was such a detailed world with people walking around who have legitimate lives to live. If you would follow just one around,
And the thing about it is that they're working on this on like the most top machines, ever. Their computers are probably over like $6,000, like MSRP and shit, probably more than that. But yet everyone else are using systems that are probably at the time. This is like a couple years ago, but at the time are probably like around $1,000 or even less than that, especially running on hardware that's probably like reaching like 5 years old at that point. So it's like, yeah, bro.
you would see them go about
Rough,
their day, go to
rough.
their job, go home, and every single decision of yours would come back to bite you in the ass. And this is all without saying the game looked stunning. Just absolutely beautiful models and settings. The animations were amazing. It looked like the most advanced video game of all time. And guess what? After being delayed numerous times, Cyberpunk launched in a state that...
I'll be honest with you, dude. When I played this game when it came out, every single time when I hit the pause button, my character would just be naked for like 3 seconds, and then the clothes will load in. I don't know why.
Well, the main issue stemmed from the console versions. The PC version looked, ran, and worked the best, but it still was a far cry from that initial gameplay reveal. Most of the issues boiled down to how glitchy and unpolished the game could be at times, but at its core, I'll stand by the fact it's a good game. The world is really what sells it. It's so detailed and feels like a genuine lived-in place, and being in a dystopian future, it's truly a world worth exploring and looking at every little minute thing. But everything around it just doesn't feel all too special.
Oh my god, look at all the lighting and shit. It's so bad.
Open world RPG involving shooting and driving segments, and none of this is bad, but it just isn't anything I haven't seen before. Anything that they talked about in the gameplay demo, like how advanced the non-playable characters are, you just see them walking in a circle, going up to them and hitting the talk button, and they say one of like 3 repeated phrases.
Okay, first of all, I like how they keep showing gameplay of Jackie Wells. I'm like, dude, That man is only in the game for like the first hour and he dies. Spoiler alert. The game's, I mean, Cyberpunk's been out. I mean, Cyberpunk has been out for like what, 4 years now. Come on now. Who doesn't know that who doesn't know that Jackie dies? Like really. But I just like how they keep showing that footage. But yeah.
Praises to you. The same goes for the characters more integral to
But
the
but I
story. They'll
get
repeat
why.
some voice lines, which is fine. That's understandable. But this isn't the genre-defining game they made it out to be. It's a brilliantly designed world inside
Oh,
a
is them
game
going
that
to
feels like it's from
Arasaka?
2013. Glitches were abundant, and we're
Yeah.
just talking about the PC version here. On Xbox One and PlayStation 4, not only were glitches even more all over the place, but the game ran like piss, and that doesn't run well. Choppy frame
Oh.
rates, low resolution, the
Oh my god, yeah, dude. I don't even know what resolution the game was on. I think it was like on 720p, running at fucking 25
game would
frames per
freeze and
second.
crash constantly, and this was the product of a giant marketing campaign pushed by investors and higher-ups who didn't understand how game development worked. They wanted a 2020 release date, which by the time CD Projekt Red started development would have given them less time to finish than The Witcher 3. And this project was so much more advanced with elements they've never worked with before. It just felt like a lot of choices they made didn't add up. Like, why do we have all this customization for our character, but the game is almost exclusively played in the first person and you barely ever see your character? Why push all this money into marketing and showing a demo of a game that frankly didn't exist yet? Much like other examples given, this demo was basically what the developers were told to shoot for, not what the game was, and no matter how much the developers said they needed more
100%.
time or this wasn't possible, the marketing pushed Cyberpunk that much more. Like, did they really have to announce, hey, the game is finished, when the developer said, bullshit it is?
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Oh god, let me get more comfortable. Oh. But yeah, man. True. The amount of times that game when like the amount of times I've seen Cyberpunk be like, it's coming out at this date, and they're like, oh, we got to push it back another couple months.
Cyberpunk
Happened so many
2077
times.
is a good game. It may not be for everybody, but to act like at its core this isn't a well-crafted experience, I think is a bit much. But you can't
Yeah.
blame people for thinking that after such a disastrous launch and being lied to constantly. This was a case of a developer who was known for their goodwill and how players adored them, and higher-ups taking advantage of that. It's crazy to me how much these companies feel the need to lie when they know that it'll just come back to bite them in the ass. They take first impressions more
Yeah, absolutely. Because and the reason why it comes back to them so hard is because gamers don't forget. Everything is documented. Literally everything is recorded. Everything is documented. Somebody's about to make a video, a reaction video to whatever. It's all out there. You can't just lie to gamers and be like, "Oh, they're gonna forget because they're stupid." No, man. Maybe it would have been passable in the '90s or probably early 2000s, sure. But dude, this is we're in the what is it? Come on, like look what year we're in, man. We literally what is it? Recording software is built into the graphics card now. It's like what? People aren't stupid, man.
seriously than launch
Not
impressions
anymore.
sometimes, but is it really worth all the headaches? To go through lawsuits and refunds and to lose consumer trust, all to impress people at E3 with something you know damn well can't be accomplished? Well, for some people it is. That's why lying is so popular. Fix
Yep. Then that's why E3 isn't around anymore because of all those constant lyings.
the problem now, deal with the repercussions later instead of telling the truth and causing some potential disappointment, but then you don't have to deal with bigger problems a year from now. It's just sometimes marketing takes over projects, and a lot of marketers don't care. Their job is to get people interested, and even if it turns out to be over lies, well, that's more publicity for the project. I guarantee you, more people have talked about Cyberpunk and Aliens Colonial Marines and No Man's Sky because they were disasters compared to if they were as good as they were made out to be. And if regardless of if discussion
Absolutely.
is positive or negative, it's still getting the name out there, which means false advertising for games will never go away. Game studios are constantly pressured into pushing boundaries, and I feel like
Oh
they
my
look
god,
at what they're currently
what is his
capable of.
aim? Don't tell me that this is Scott's aiming playing this shit on the console. Maybe hey, you know what? Maybe he mostly plays on PC now. But given that he mentions a lot like playing games on console, it's like, dude, Scott, if this is your aim, bro.
No matter how advanced, and think it's not good enough. So they pretty things up for reveals and just assume they'll get it working later. But as we can see,
Oops.
That's not the greatest risk to take. I think the
What
lesson
is
we
that
learned
glitch?
here is it's okay to be excited. It's also okay to be skeptical, but maybe wait to make a full decision until something's out in the world and actual people are playing the game rather than snake people.
What's up with
Because
the Pepto
liars are
Bismol?
everywhere. They might even be staring you in the face.
Badass.
And this was when I lost credibility.
Oh boy. Crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And look at that. With the constant lying and mistrust. I mean, look at all these studios now. Now they all want, what is it? Now they're like, please, please buy our next game, even though it's a massive piece of work, like what is it, like Outlaws and what is it, and Assassin's Creed Shadows and some other ones. It's like, please buy the game, and it's just, bro, I don't. Anyway, well, all right then. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. This is a great video by Scott DeWaz of false advertising. There's just a lot. There's just quite a bit to unpack here, but it's all right. Well, this is what is it? Who's that? Hey. All right then. Well, was it? This is Wayne 928, and we'll probably end up changing the name at pretty soon. And what is? I'll be live depending when I put this one out. It'll probably be on Friday. I'll probably what is it? I'll probably be live on 7:30 p.m. MST. All right then. Have a good one. Shut up, computer. All right. Peace out.